So I'll start by talking about patient empowerment and how it's evolving here in the US. Many years ago, the idea was that patients were just recipients of research discovery. Today, patients are being viewed as integral partners in all aspects of research discovery, and talking about how patients can best access and benefit from the new discoveries that are on the market. So when you think about patient advocacy organizations, we're here to show up, stand up, speak up on behalf of everyone who can't, and bring that voice to discovery, and to help be partners to our scientists, to our industry partners, to talk about how patients can be alongside every step. We partner from the design of clinical trials. It's important to have patients discuss the design itself before you start a clinical trial that a patient can't participate in. Patients can also participate in the design of clinical trials themselves to ensure that the design is successful and that patients won't have to step off of the trial because it didn't work with them in mind. Think about all the requirements, how much time they have to take off from work, how many times they have to come to the cancer center. Do they have childcare? Do they have transportation? Your patient advocate can set you up for success by thinking about all those things up front. Think also about the consent forms, how confusing they are. But if you had a patient advocate alongside with you at the very beginning, that language would be so much more accessible to a patient and understandable, making it easy for them to say yes. Patients can also help communicate the purpose of the clinical trial, the results of the clinical trial, to help accrue patients to the clinical trial, because they have walked a mile in the patient's shoes and are often the best source of trust in a community about research, about industry, and can really help partner to drive discovery forward. At the end of the day, nothing on the market today happened without patients, and how we feel in patient advocacy is the best way to success is to start with the beginning, with integrating patients early and often, and including them in all aspects of communication. That's the best recipe for success. You know, every patient is unique and every community has specific needs. When you're talking about educating a community, the first thing to do is to ask and to learn and to listen before you decide the best way to communicate with that community. You'll learn so much about needs, you'll learn so much about customs and the way people want to be communicated to. Some communities like things in video, some people would like to read about them first. Some people may want to take some literature home and sit with it and discuss that with their family. You also have to think about the specific language that's being used, the imagery that's being used, and your patients can come alongside you and help you adapt all of those materials. At Susan G. Komen, we have materials in multiple languages that speak to multiple cultures. And the way that we do that is to work with the community to translate into the native language and then translate it back to English to be sure that we are communicating accurately and effectively. That's the best way to ensure that your message is going to be received by the people who need it the most. At Susan G. Komen, we want to be seen as a trusted healthcare guide alongside patients. Think about all the information that comes to a patient when they're diagnosed with breast cancer. We want to be there to help explain, to help translate that information, to help patients understand what questions they need to ask their doctor, but also to make connections to things like supportive care. How can we help their psychosocial needs? Some of their needs in looking after the family, childcare, transportation, housing, all of those things that they may need to successfully complete treatment. Those are some of the things that we do to come alongside patients who are walking the breast cancer journey. Our goal is to ensure that no one diagnosed with breast cancer walks alone, and that we are helping them be served with the right treatments and to save their lives at the end of the day.